Marcus Stroman is one of the better known pitchers in baseball. He's not necessarily one of the best in the league or near the best pitcher on his own team even, but he certainly has some nasty stuff and can be incredibly valuable to a team when he's on his game. Stroman is not a very big guy. In fact, he's very short. With that being said, he uses his short height as a chip on his shoulder, as many people throughout his life have doubted him and what he could potentially do with his baseball career. With that chip on his shoulder comes fire and lots of personality when pitching, something that several players throughout the league have taken exception to. He gets incredibly emotional on the mound and in the dugout, lets players know he struck them out, among many other things that have gotten Stroman into some on-the-field scuffles. He's been yelled at by other players, has been criticized by managers of other teams, has been involved in multiple benches clearing incidents, and more. Take a second to like this video, and if you're new to the channel and end up enjoying this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button for future baseball content. One of Marcus Stroman's first drama incidents was when he threw behind Orioles hitter Caleb Joseph. Stroman ended up getting a warning, and actually got suspended for 6 games, later getting it reduced to 5. Stroman denied doing it on purpose, saying he never had any intent on throwing at anybody, and quote-unquote, doesn't have a bad bone in my body. Stroman loves to yell at himself, usually for motivation, and sometimes that can get other players fired up if they don't know exactly what's going on, resulting in big miscommunication, which was the case between Stroman and Logan Morrison several years back. Morrison hit a fly ball out off of Stroman, and after running back to the dugout, he started to exchange words with Stroman, with Marcus clearly making a point that he wasn't talking to him, saying the same thing after the game, with Morrison admitting he didn't really know what was going on and made the assumption that Stroman was yelling at him. Chicago White Sox shortstop Tim Anderson is also known for having lots of fun on the field and having flair, loving to flip his bat and watch home runs at certain times. Although that is true, he was not having it after striking out against Marcus Stroman back in 2017, when he and Stroman stared at each other, leading the benches to clear and Anderson having to be held back. 2019 was not a very good season for the Boston Red Sox, and Marcus Stroman made that clear when shutting their offense down in the summer of that year. During a game between the Red Sox and Blue Jays in May of that year in Toronto, umpire Alan Porter could be heard yelling something like, Chris, stop, as Chris Sale must have been jawing at Stroman. After the game, Red Sox manager Alex Cora had some stuff to say about Stroman. Quote, it's the same thing with him every day. He competes a certain way and people don't like it. It seems like whenever a team comes in, somebody screams at him. I don't know. That's the way he acts. End quote. Stroman went on to say Cora must be mad that he didn't pitch for his Puerto Rican team during the World Baseball Classic and instead chose Team USA. Later that year in a game after striking out Eduardo Nunez to end the 6th inning, Stroman yelled at the top of his lungs at the Red Sox dugout.
Benintendi not going, and it's strike 3 called to get Martin.
No, and he struck him out. And look at the reaction.
Oh, please.
Chris Sale was apparently not happy, yet again, having some words for Stroman as he skipped back to his own dugout. Red Sox broadcaster Dennis Eckersley was having none of it either, saying his act was quote-unquote tired, Stroman later calling him a clown and hypocrite on Twitter and that his comments are always trash. Stroman continued to defend himself, saying that he's never going to change and will not for anybody, continuing to be the way he's been in his entire life and what was instilled into him at a young age. We then get to 2021, and Stroman has had a very eventful year to say the least. He's had a very solid year for the New York Mets, being one of the more reliable starters for them, but has also gotten himself into some drama as well. In a game between the Mets and Diamondbacks in Arizona, D-backs hitter Josh Rojas popped out. Rojas and Stroman started to jaw at each other, resulting in the benches to clear between the two sides. Rojas said this after the game, quote, he was looking at me after I flew out, made eye contact, and then we had an exchange of words. But I mean, just trying to get the guys going? You know, he's out there throwing well. Let's try to mix things up there and stir the pot a little bit and get us going, end quote. Diamondbacks broadcaster Bob Brenly went on to be under fire for comments he later made on Stroman, mocking his do-rag during the game, something that many perceived as offensive, forcing him to take some time off in the booth for a few games and return soon thereafter. We then get to the most recent incident between Stroman and another team/player. The Mets were taking on the Pirates in Pittsburgh, and in the bottom of the 5th inning, Stroman got Pirates hitter John Nogowski to line out with a man on third to end the inning. Stroman jumped up and celebrated, and Nogowski apparently did not like that, yelling at Stroman, resulting in the benches to clear. They then had some more to say to each other as Stroman started to jaw at him from the dugout. It's hard to tell if they were joking at this point, but what is clear is how Stroman feels about Nogowski, saying this after the game.
Inning ended, patted my glove, put my head down, literally looking at our dugout. You can look at the video, and he starts running his mouth, saying that I'm talking. So I'm never one to let any man talk down on me, especially when it's not warranted at all. He's just a clown, man. You know what I mean? Drew Smith told me he was a clown. He's a clown. So he knows I wasn't talking any If you go look at the video, I put my head down and looked right at our dugout, literally put my head down and started walking to the dugout, and he proceeded to run his mouth.
Marcus Stroman is not a quiet guy, and I think that's good for the game of baseball. The game needs more people who act like him, even if it gets on others' nerves at times. He has a big chip on his shoulder and lets everyone know about it, loves to be loud, celebrates, so in turn, he's going to get some hate for it. Let me know what you think about all this, and thank you for watching.